Well, good morning. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Kicking off another big week of conversation. I'm here in Montgomery at Network Control. It looks like Barry is back in the friendly confines of his studio in Troy, Alabama, after a lengthy road trip in the Appalachian Mountains. I know what he's saying, but we got to get that mic turned on.
Yeah, sorry about that. There we go.
I was
That
trying
is
to read your
operator
lips.
error. That is a Monday for me. Yeah,
It'll happen.
yeah, it's good to be back here. We left for our Troy men's basketball trip on December 31st. We got back yesterday, which was the 5th.
Oof.
And we won both games. So that's a big one for the Trojans. It was good because, you get 2 wins on the road in the Sun Belt, which is a tough league. And, John, it was in Boone, North Carolina and Huntington, West Virginia. And in both of those places, boy, we got out just before the snowstorm hits. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we had gone the other way, if we'd have started in Huntington, West Virginia, ended up in Boone, we'd probably be in Boone right now, snowed in. So get ready for some cold weather, people, because if it ain't there where you are right now, wherever you are worldwide, it's going to be there, and it's going to be there pretty soon. So batten down the hatches.
Little strip coming from Missouri all the way into Virginia. So y'all just did dodge all that. Our man Bill from Baltimore tells us already 4 inches forecast today in the Baltimore area. Yeah, I was talking to my daughter, Bill. She said 13 degrees, snow coming right there in D.C., which, of course, is next door to Baltimore. So y'all batting it down up there. It should be cold and snowy in that part of the world. And, man, you can have it.
We already get this. And this counts as a natty, okay?
Okay.
Theotis has pointed out, he says, hail to Miss America. Yesterday, Abby Stockard, who is an Auburn University nursing student and a cheerleader at Auburn, she won Miss America. So count that as a natty. This is not shared. This is not half a championship. She is not on probation. So
did they roll Toomer's Corner?
I knew you were going to ask that. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I was distracted about turning my microphone up, because I was feverishly looking to see. I don't know that they did. There may be a parade. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Yeah.
There may be a parade.
Gern, if you could pull up a picture of this young lady and put it on the screen for us.
Listen.
I have no idea who we're talking about. I want to see if
Abby
she's hot.
Stockard. No relation to Stockard Channing.
I want to know if she's as hot as the ring girl that goes to Alabama. For the
my thought is that once you get past a certain level, it's like comparing the hydrogen bomb to the atomic bomb. Which one's stronger? It don't matter if it lands on you. Either one of them will kill you. Same thing with beautiful women.
They can kill you too. Yeah.
Plus, they can cost a lot of money, just like an A-bomb or an A-bomb.
They still have the bikini portion of the Miss America contest.
Hang on, that's an excellent question.
Probably the only way that girl from Alabama could maybe win that category. Who knows? I shouldn't discount.
I don't know, but
she could be in pre-med for all I know.
Yeah, she's nursing, so let's get that out of the way. Just so Theotis onto it early today. He also he got it on our River Region Straw chat line this morning. John, he has his bases covered. He also put it on our email inbox at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. He wanted it noted on the record on Longshore and McKnight.
It is noted, Theotis. It is. Hail to Bo Nix as well. Of course, the fabulous Oregon football player. Glad to know that Theotis is a big Duck fan and gives Bo a little kudos against a depleted Kansas City Chiefs team.
What was up? They depleted themselves.
It was like Alabama playing Michigan, but Kansas City didn't win. But yeah, hey, good. I got to tell you, Bo Nix and Sean Payton, pretty good pair.
Yeah. They get into the playoffs. I can't remember, and I watched a little bit of last night's game. Detroit won it big over Minnesota, gets the number one NFC seed. I didn't get a chance to watch any. I didn't have the opportunity to watch any of that Kansas City Denver game. Denver wins it 38-0. Kansas City didn't give two rat flatulations about that thing. Anybody who's good for Kansas City didn't play, didn't dress out. And I don't know who that screwed over. Who was hoping that Denver was going to lose? It might have been the Falcons. No, that wouldn't have made any sense. But that was who. Anybody out there at that game has to be thinking, I got to get my money back for that.
All right, so let me.
I thought nobody was even playing.
And I wasn't shocked because I'd heard that was probably what was going to happen. And we've seen it before in the NFL. Maybe not to that extreme, but, team knows they're in, number one seed, whatever. If you're number one in the country and you're going to your conference championship game and you're playing your in-state rival in the last regular season game of the year, could you ever see a day that the Iron Bowl has a game where one of the teams has got all their starters on the bench?
Yeah. Especially if we go to a 16-team playoff, where you're in. Let's take Georgia as an example. They didn't need to win the SEC championship. They were in. They would have gotten a first-round bye. Well, they ended up getting the quarterback injured in the SEC championship game. I bet a lot of Georgia fans are thinking, man, I wish we didn't even play in that thing. They ended up losing that game, and then they lose to Notre Dame over the weekend. Who wants to do that? And in a 16-team playoff where it's even that much more sure that you're going to get in, why do that? Same thing with the Chiefs. Chiefs are the number one seed in the playoffs no matter what. I think it's the fourth time in 7 years under Mahomes they come in as the number one seed. Which is more important, a win over the old Broncos or not having what happened to Carson Beck happening to Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly get it. They got a week off. The wild card will start this week. We'll get into that a little bit later. And I got to tell you, it's an exciting time in football for me because, number one, all the worthless, meaningless bowl games are over and done with.
They're done.
We've got, of course, the semifinals in the college football playoffs Thursday and Friday. We got the NFL wild card beginning this weekend as well. The times are perfect. I mean, these TV people have figured it out in the NFL. Why they can't do it in the regular season, I don't know. But they got these playoff games in the NFL at times that are convenient for me. Barry, isn't that what we're all about now in our new format? We're trying to make it convenient for you, the consumer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Unfortunately, Longshore and McKnight, the kiss of death from both of us, because neither the Saints, John's team, nor the Jacksonville Jaguars, my team, made the playoffs. But I guess the good news is that, hey, they're pretty well suited for the NFL draft coming up. The number one pick in the draft will go to the Titans. Titans were terrible.
That would be my team, Barry.
Yeah, right there in your own backyard.
There you go.
Yeah, so, with a new $1 billion. By the time that stadium's completed, maybe the Titans will be good again.
So there's there's that. The Saints aren't even in the bottom five. The Saints don't even get a top five pick.
Yeah,
the Browns do, the Giants do, the Patriots do, and the Jaguars do, along with the Titans. So because
the Saints not only do the Saints have a problem at quarterback, Derek Carr obviously is not the answer because they can't keep him healthy and he just hadn't performed that well. That team's old. They got a lot of old players on that team. So the Saints need about 5 first-round draft picks. Unfortunately, they're not going to get them. And I heard some guys yesterday talking about teams that might be looking for new coaches. Obviously, there's some that are. They mentioned some others that possibly could be. Obviously, the Saints came up because I don't think they've named a permanent head coach since they fired Dennis Allen.
They have not.
But the guy pretty much said, well, to me, that's kind of a middle of the pack kind of job. I don't know if I want that one because, like I just said, no quarterback. They're old. They need a lot of help. I'm thinking, oh, boy, geez, this looks like a 3-4 year rebuild going on down there.
So we've got that. The playoffs will begin. They'll begin this weekend. One of the playoff games, I don't have the list in front of me. One of the playoff games is on Amazon Prime.
Yes, I was looking at the schedule. They've now
John
they've
and
also
I are
got
both Amazon Prime customers. I mean, well, John's family is Amazon Prime customers. So nothing against Amazon Prime. These are the playoffs, man. Amazon Prime, really?
The Saturday game, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Bill, you going to be there? Going to be could be snowy and windy. Pittsburgh
Robbie,
at
you're going to be there?
Yeah. It is. That's a Prime Video Saturday night.
What in the world?
Down in up in Baltimore. Now, Barry, the early game is CBS and Paramount Plus. I guess it's on 2. You can watch it on either one, I would think.
I guess. Uh-huh.
But yeah, you're right. And I think you're going to see more and more of that type stuff on these streaming services. And was it Netflix, I believe, that had these games on?
Yeah, they had games on last weekend, and they looked pretty good. They really did. That was a rousing success. I think we'll see that as well coming up in the future. One of the other things I think we'll see a lot of, and we certainly, John and I, will talk a lot about, the opening weekend of the SEC men's basketball schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Went really well for the 2 in-state SEC teams. Auburn wins over Missouri, 84-68. Janai Broome was insane in that one for the Tigers. I got a chance on the team bus because they put it up there. I didn't have any choice, really, but I'm glad I got a chance to watch it. Alabama beats Oklahoma by 28. Oklahoma was undefeated. They go to Alabama, and Alabama puts a 28-point whooping on them. Well, the Oklahoma head coach is a guy that I've done games for. His name is Porter Moser. In the post-game line, when they're shaking hands, did Porter Moser tell Nate Oates? He says, look, I didn't have a thing to do with Oklahoma whipping up on Alabama in football in Norman. That wasn't me. Golly, man, what are you taking it out on me for? I didn't have anything to do with that.
I was watching, and I thought both teams played really well. Watched pieces of both of those games. And there again, I've been impressed with Auburn for months now. They certainly look to continue to be the best team in college basketball in my mind. But watch them both play, and as I'm watching it, and I heard you say it last week that Oklahoma yet to lose a game, and I'm watching it, and I see it on the screen, 13-0. I mean, I hate to go to the old tried and true cheap shot, but who have they played? I mean, that's the first thing I'm thinking of. Who have they played? Obviously, nobody.
Well, they are not bad now. It's not one of these overrated kind of things. Oklahoma's pretty dang good, but Alabama and Auburn, I'm just telling you, we may be talking about this team deep into the NCAA tournament. And they both got star players. Broome is the bell cow for Auburn. Mark Sears, they were singing his praises on Saturday, and they should have. He was terrific. It's going to be a good year on the round ball. It's going to be a good year on the hardwood, John.
Do I need to go ahead and just get ready for it? Every time Mark Sears goes to the free throw line, we're going to show his mother up in the stands. We're going to see that every time.
That's and goodness knows you ought to love your mama. I love mine. But bless her heart, she's loving the attention of being his mama. I've seen mamas like that. I'm sure everybody has as well, from rec ball, church league, AAU, travel ball, middle school, junior high, high school, and everything. She likes the attention. And I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. But I wonder deep down in his heart and soul whether Mark is like, oh, come on, Mom.
man, tone it down a little bit.
A little bit, maybe go from a 10 to about a 7 would be good, something like
tap
that.
the brakes just
Her
a little
son
bit.
is good, though.
But, I want to go over all the SEC from the weekend because some really good games. Barry, our man Bart Heisch will be back on later this week. Bart will join us on Thursdays throughout the basketball season. Of course, Bart, a member of Mississippi State's Final Four team. He'll actually be doing the South Alabama game on Thursday. I'm not sure who South Alabama's playing.
Uh-huh.
But Bart's going to be doing that game. He'll tell us more about that when he joins us to talk basketball. But looking forward to that and kind of previewing what's going on with the rest of the conference. But college football playoff semifinal action is this week. Also, we've got some NFL playoff action as well. A lot of other things we're going to get to on the program. The chat line is firing off hot and heavy. We're going to get to some of these comments on the chat line as well. A lot of that today. Lugan Bill will be on Thursday. He's, of course, at the Under Armour All-Star game today, so couldn't make it on his normal Monday, but Lugs will be on with us Wednesday before the first semifinal college football game on Thursday, so we're looking forward to that. So we got a lot to get to today. We want your thoughts and comments as well. Hit the chat line. Our River Region Straw chat line is up and running. Our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox, longshore&mcknight@gmail.com. Coach has sent an email in today. Also, we've also gotten a photo of what I think is Miss America, an Auburn student in a cheerleading outfit. I sent it up to Gern to confirm, and we'll show that to you when we get back. The newly crowned Miss America, we're told.
Yep. As of last night, Abby Stockard, I think is her name. We've got a lot to get to.
If they have not rolled Toomer's Corner, Barry, I'm going to be pretty disappointed.
I got to figure out a webcam where I can confirm. I should have known that. Where was my head? I guess I was busy traveling and everything because I knew when I brought that up, that would be the first question. Either what did Philip say about it or, did they roll Toomer's Corner?
Read that.
That's my bad. But we're underway. It's the Monday show, our first Monday show of the new year.
Yeah,
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, $15,000 off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to $10,000 off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Stivers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Stivers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy a round during the next truck commercial, buy a round during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make two plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Monday, kicking off a brand new week. Good morning to everybody out there on the chat line. Thank you so much for getting up with us, and a good morning to all. Hey, Dr. B is up today with us. Always enjoy seeing and hearing from Dr. B. Also, Ty asked, Spencer Rattler played pretty well against the Bucs yesterday. Thoughts, John? He's not the future.
He's no.
He's not the future.
No.
And John Gruden to the Saints. I mean, to me, that's like Bum Phillips and Hank Stram and
it used
Mike
to be.
Ditka. I mean, all these retread head coaches. Saints have done that.
It used to be that you'd have like Dick Sheridan was always a name. What's the guy who played wide receiver? Richard Williamson. Hey, we need to get him for Alabama. He's one of Bears boys. And, those names that crop up all the time in all of these things. No. Gruden, in the words of Hall and Oates, he's out of touch.
Yeah.
You're out of time. That's hey, let's get Gruden. Tennessee has just fired head coach Lane Kiffin. I hear John Gruden. Shut up with John Gruden. Give me a break.
He's been out of the game a while and said some things that got him out of football. So I'm not sure the NFL is gonna bring him back.
Especially for the Saints. Give him somebody who can be with them for a while. Who can build that thing, because it ain't like he's going to come in and wave a magic wand. John, this is a 3, 4, 5 year rebuild coming up for them, no doubt.
A big one.
Yeah.
No kidding. All right. So I mentioned Coach got up early today. Barry, he said a 5U at Alabama was crowned the Op Rattlesnake Rodeo Queen in 2024. I did not know that.
Am I the only one who has ever worked an Alpha Psi roundup at Auburn, which is where all the, can I say this? Well, it's not FCC, where all the frat boys get drunk and ride these broken down ponies, and you get a big old keg and you put them on a flatbed truck and you pull them into the roundup place in Auburn. I've covered one of those, and by covered, my radio station broadcast it live, and I interviewed live on the air an Auburn offensive lineman. I cannot remember his name, but he was from New Jersey, and it did not go well because he was inebriated. And I've also been to an Op Rattlesnake roundup. I don't get it. Rattlesnakes ain't my thing. Op is just down the road from here. It does not surprise me. Coach says, good morning, men. Tiger Paw, Barry. Now, let's be fair, Barry. A FIMU from the UAT campus was crowned Op Rattlesnake Rodeo Queen 2024. And he says both state basketball teams are pretty darn good. There's several basketball teams in the state that are pretty darn good. Troy Trojans have 10 wins and are undefeated in the league. That's from Coach. We're going to endeavor to get Abby Stafford's picture up at some point. The Auburn
is that
who won Miss
I don't
America.
know if that's her. It's a cute picture. I think Theoda sent it to us. He wasn't steer strong. She's cute.
Oh yeah, that's her. That's her.
Yeah.
Yep, that is definitely her. Yes.
Yeah,
So that's legit.
America.
Why do you? I didn't realize. I remember when Tiger Walk was first a thing. And Tiger Walk at Auburn is awesome. This picture is taken of her in her sequined Auburn cheerleader uniform going down Tiger Walk. Why do you need a big sign that says Tiger Walk? Don't they already know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I guess the photo Well, for pictures. If somebody's taking a bunch of pictures, they might go, "Why are these people walking down the street and these people
where
behind
are
barricades
you?
are cheering? What's going on here?"
Okay,
Oh, it's Tiger Walk.
Maybe so.
Some people, Barry, call it Walk of Champions. Other people call it some other little cutesy name.
Yeah. Well, the Walk of Champions hadn't been true champions for about 5 years.
Whoa, the best we got. Whoa, wow, 5 years.
Yeah, so it beats 14. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm told going to the Final Four is a big deal. Maybe they'll put that on the Walk of Champions. Who knows?
Yep. It is a big deal.
Have they raised that flag there at Coleman? Final Four appearance.
Wouldn't they have done that already? Maybe they're waiting for a certain game to do so. We get this from Theotis, probably, a couple of the Auburn people. Bill from Baltimore says, Kalen DeBoer should wear a cowboy hat and mink coat on the sidelines like Bum Phillips. Bill says he never saw him coach, but what style? That's hard for me to believe. Grown people have never. We've been at it for a while, John, not only in this medium, but in life. I saw a tweet the other day. I was telling Dee, my wife, this just beating the brakes off of me. I was on the bus, and somebody pointed out that "Wake Me Up Before You Go" by Wham.
Yeah.
That was released closer to the end of World War II than it is to today.
Man.
I'm thinking, you do the jitterbug? You put the boom boom into my heart? That was closer to the end of World War II than it is to 2025. I guess that's right. But, Bum Phillips, people haven't seen him coach. I remember him golly, really well. That's like
Bum
somebody
Phillips
was talking about on social media about Jimmy Carter. He said, well, we don't need to judge his politics. We weren't alive when he was president. We don't know his politics. I said, read a book.
Yeah.
Just because you weren't alive,
you
don't know. You don't know what, we weren't alive whenever he was a president. We don't know his politics. Hey, can anybody tell me anything about Abraham Lincoln? Because I wasn't alive. Come on, people.
Are we going to say the same thing about Biden 40 years from now? Well, let's don't say anything about him. He was good. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, Kalen DeBoer should be wearing something else other than what he's been wearing lately out there.
I'm glad to know Theotis is concerned about Alabama's portal class.
Yeah, they had a couple more. Elijah Pritchett is now in the portal. Justin Okoronkwo, the freshman from Germany, Justin Okoronkwo is in the portal. Now, you have 5 days from the end of your season if you're in a bowl game.
Yep.
You have 5 days if your bowl game takes place after the official portal closes, and it closed the 28th. Alabama's bowl game was the 31st. You have 5 days to get in there. And I got to tell you, I'm with John on a couple of these. Justin Okoronkwo, I remember he was from Germany.
Is he the white guy that had all the jewelry on and the white jumpsuit?
No, that was the kid from Denmark or something.
Yeah, I get them mixed up.
I can't remember his
Czechoslovakia.
name. Yeah, Elijah Pritchett. John, Sterling Dixon is in the transfer portal. John, Ty Lockwood is in the transfer portal. King Mack has entered the transfer portal along with Arkel Enugwam. No. He actually committed to Alabama. No. Yeah, he committed to Alabama. He is in. He is a offensive lineman from Ball State.
Come on, Ball State.
So anyway, I think Alabama's up to like 22 guys in the portal.
Clean them
like
out.
That, in the 20s.
Get all this dead wood out of there. I mean, you're just taking up space. I mean,
and they have been active on the incoming side of things.
Well, I want to get into that a little later today. I mean, I think the topic wheel is very, very stacked today. Yep. But I wanted to ask you this, Barry, because I've had a lot of people, and I'm sure Robbie will be asking later today. I am looking at the Longshore and McKnight Bowl Prediction Contest leaderboard.
Okay.
And one of the things that I noticed, our current leader, his champion, the team he picked to win it all, is out. How bad is that going to hurt him when it's all said and done?
Bad. In the past, we have never had a champion, a bowl prediction champion, that has missed the championship game. They're not weighted during the bowl season, but the playoffs are weighted, obviously. Unless he's like leading everybody by 14 points, and nobody is.
No.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
That's
what a lot of people do. This is one of the Longshore and McKnight rules. A lot of times it's a good idea to make your picks backward, to say, okay, this is who I'm picking for the national championship. These are the two teams I'm picking for the national championship games, and work backwards to the quarterfinals and to the and to all that, and then the bowl games. Just
well, here's my next question. Okay. Is it mathematically possible to jump from the 38th position to number 1? Because I got to go all the way down to 38 to find somebody that's picked Ohio State, who I think is going to end up winning it all.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I mean, we got Texas, we got Notre Dame, we got a lot of Texases, we got, a bunch of Georgias, but they're scratched out. They're in red, excuse me. So I got to go to number 38, and of all people, guess who it is? Chris the Bammer is the highest positioned entrant, with Ohio State winning it all. Now, there again, Texas or Notre Dame, they might win it. I mean, you never know. Penn State, matter of fact, I don't see a Penn State on the first sheet. But anyway,
Penn State is the palest blue. Penn State is the Carolina bluest of the blue bloods. I mean, they ain't. Am I right here, John? They ain't blue blood.
No,
they're kind of a pale blue, sort of a sky blue, robin's egg blue blood, not the.
I don't know.
Blue blood. People forget about Penn State.
I would probably put Penn State in the blue blood kind of category. They've had some bumps in the road, no doubt about it. But if there's a top 10, I'd probably put them in it. Top 5, probably not. But our man Curtis is in the number 1 position currently, but Curtis has Georgia winning it all. I think that's going to hurt Curtis.
Wah, wah, wah. I think the only way, if I'm correct, the only way that Chris the Bammer can jump 38 spots to win this thing is if Longshore and McKnight go back and we see 37 players actually entered their brackets after the postseason had begun, and we render them ineligible. This is interesting from my buddy Jason Jones. He says, Barry, who do you want as the Jags' next coach? John, we're barely on the air. I mean, just right after our commercial break, the Jaguars have fired Doug Peterson.
This
This is breaking news. It just happened as of this morning.
I do not know. I haven't looked it up. Did the Jags lose yesterday?
Yes, they did, to the Colts. Yeah,
man. Yeah, Mac Jones, tough finish.
Yeah,
you think Mac Jones will be in Jacksonville next year?
I don't think so. I don't. There are places that could use him. He's not the best, but he knows what he's doing, and he can get a team into the playoffs, and he's good for a while. I keep thinking this: if Sam Darnold can have a renaissance in the NFL, why not Mac Jones? Anyway, Jason says, Barry, who do you want as the Jags' next head coach? I'd like to see Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. He's going to be very popular here. But there are also a couple of college head coaches that seem like they're ready to kind of get out of the game. College is tough these days and get in the NFL. Maybe Ryan Day.
If he doesn't win it all this year, he might not have much choice but to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, he may be looking for a job. I hadn't really thought about that because I thought Doug Peterson was safe. It ain't his fault. Also, we're talking a little NFL today. This from Tobias. His Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back in the playoffs. A couple of things about that game. I think it was against Carolina.
Now they played the Saints yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But Baker Mayfield was good again. The Bucs are back in. Congratulations, Tobias.
And has Baker Mayfield had kind of a renaissance?
He's been great.
Woo.
He really has. Of course, he was a number 1 pick, and Mac Jones wasn't that. But I loved it when Mike Evans for the Bucs, he had it in his incentive where he'd get like $5 million if he had over 1,000 receiving yards. He had 1,000 receiving yards for each of the first 10 years. Only Jerry Rice had ever done it for 11 straight years. Well, he was at like 996. The Bucs had won the game. I mean, they were going to win it. They were playing late in the game, and instead of kneeling down, they threw him about an 8-yard pass. He got over 1,000. All the players knew it. They knew about the incentives. He has tied Jerry Rice. He's had 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. They're all jumping around, running in on and everything, and high-fiving and everything because he gets an extra $5 million just because Baker Mayfield dumped this little pass over the middle to him on the last play of the game. He gets his $5 million. Game's over. Bucs owner is glad they're in the playoffs, but he's going, dang.
Yeah.
Man.
So
$5 million out of my pocket on the last play of the regular season. Let me get my lawyer on the phone and look for a loophole or something.
Who's the guy up in the press box going, hey, man, make sure you throw it to this guy. He's got to get one more catch. I mean, is there somebody up there? Does the player think about that?
It is. If he's any good, it's Mike Evans' agent.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he's at 996. Let's go. Come on now. That was pretty good. And Bryce Young. Yeah, Bryce. What do you have? 4 touchdowns yesterday, 5 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
You and I had both said this before, because he had underperformed in his first year or two. And you think because he's getting the snot knocked out of him.
Yeah, he's got to get
got a couple
help.
linemen. He's got a little help. Not a lot. They ain't great. But Bryce Young, after the game, the head coach, Dave Canales of the Panthers, says, hey, we got our guy. And that makes me happy because he is a really good player. But you and I both know the key to the NFL for success is the situation. You got to find the right circumstances, and he was not in them in his first couple years.
Yeah, I'm not sure the quarterback at Kansas City could be as successful in Carolina as he is with the Chiefs because he's got a lot around him to make his life a very. The thing about the Falcons, did I hear this correctly? If the Falcons had won, would they have won the NFC South? Or Tampa Bay maybe lose or something? I knew they were in it.
I think they needed help. But see, that was the interesting thing about the Minnesota-Detroit game last night. 2 14-2 teams, last game of the year, great drama. I was watching that game. Detroit wins it. They're the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. They got home field until the Super Bowl. And the Vikings are now a 5 seed, and they got to go on the road, and play the Rams or the Chargers or somebody. That's quite the drop-off between number 1 seed,
no kidding,
home field advantage throughout. But if you lose, you're a wild card. You're the 5 seed. That's how you seed a playoff there.
And of course, that's so Atlanta. Got a chance to make the postseason and lose at home to a Panther team that's really not that good.
Not good, yeah.
Very, very Falcon-esque. All right, when we come back, we're going to get the Victorland topic wheel going. We've got a lot going on with that. Bear, also, Mary Ann from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is going to join us in a little more than an hour. Marguerite's has a connection with Miss Alabama.
Yep, always
Miss
do.
America. And she's going to tell us a little bit about it and some jewelry that she's been wearing in about an hour or so. So we got the beauty pageants covered here on the show.
We are big fans of beauty pageants. Believe me, it's Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light.
Book tea time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination Golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location, 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra, Lake Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Okay, back at it here, about 19 minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The River Region Straw chat line is going at it today. We really appreciate all the conversation there. We're going to touch on as many of those on the chat line as we can. Some great questions, some great comments. Yeah, you mentioned Tobias. He's a big Tampa Bay fan. The Bucs are in the playoffs. He's excited about that. And I got to tell you, Baker Mayfield, he is certainly, like I said, been resurrected, it seems like.
Yeah.
He has found the right, and I think that's, that's a lot. You mentioned it with Bryce Young. The right fit, being in the right place with the right personnel around you is huge.
I've always thought this. If Archie Manning had been drafted by the Steelers or, heck, even the Cowboys, John, we're old enough to remember, John and I are old enough to remember when the Cowboys were good.
Yeah, they were. In the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Not this year again.
If Archie Manning had gotten drafted by the Steelers or by the Rams, maybe the Rams, or by the Cowboys.
Could he have beat out Vince Ferragamo?
He could have, yeah. I'm telling you, people would forget all about it. And Archie could have set some records down there, but he was getting the snot knocked out of him every year down with the Saints. Jim Plunkett was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Played for a crappy Patriots team. Look it up, kids. And then when he went to the Raiders, all of a sudden there he is in the Super Bowl. So and
Theodis, you're right. At least it wasn't here in the Montgomery market. We had Saints, Bucks, and Falcons, Panthers.
Yeah.
We did not have the Cowboys on. We had the Broncos and the Chiefs in the
which
late
was an
window.
absolute waste.
Yeah, it was. Well, you're right about that.
There's no reason to have that one on.
It was refreshing not turning it on and having the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then last night it was Vikings and the Lions, hoping that would be a better game, but it was.
What about the Lions uniforms?
Hate them.
I'm not a big fan either.
Another powder blue team. I like that. I like, the classic powder blue on silver helmets.
Yeah.
And maybe the powder blue or the light blue jerseys. John's this way politically and culturally. If time had just stopped in the 80s and there was like some sort of universal degree, okay, fashion will not change from this point. Music will stay the same. There will be no changes. There can be new music, but it's got to sound like this.
Yeah.
Food, you will never be able to place a bet with your man on something, buy something other than the sheet that you get in the envelope or from the paper. There's never going to be any of this.
The furthest we're going to let you go.
Say, no.
You got to be able to hit that redial button on your phone. Now, you used to have to do the rotary dial, and then you'd be very frustrating because you dial it up, still get the busy signal.
Yeah.
But we'll let you have the redial button. But and then of course,
John
Miami
still
Vice
has
will
the
be
little
on.
callus on the inside of his index finger from having to hit that thing the whole time.
I used to stick a pencil in there and do it with a pencil. And then of course every Friday night at 9:00, Miami Vice is going to be on. I mean,
that will never change. Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas will be rolling around in walkers on the Miami shuffleboard courts, still, solving crimes to the tunes of Phil Collins and Tommy Shaw.
Yeah.
But the only thing I agree with him on all of that is the NFL uniforms needed to stay the same. The Lions should always be the way they were when Barry Sanders played, right? Vikings should always be the same Vikings that they used to have back in the day with Fran Tarkenton and
like yesterday.
Grant.
Denver went old school. They went with their old school uniform.
Yeah.
I don't like Denver. They'll go all white one week, all orange one week, all blue one week. I liked what they had on yesterday. That's old school Denver uniform. I wish Tampa Bay would go back to their original uniform.
Why did they change?
The
Those were amazing. Why did they change color schemes? I don't get it. But you're talking about, changing the uniforms out there. John does not like the all orange uniforms. But meanwhile, when he's talking about the Tigers, I want more orange.
Not all orange. Not all, but Barry, what I've suggested Auburn do, and I think they'd really like to do it, but since I came up with the idea, they're not going to.
They say, okay, what do the focus groups say? They say they want the uniforms like that. What do our big donors say? They want our uniforms to be like that too. Oh, that sounds good. What do the fans say? They all want our uniforms to be like that. Man, this sounds promising. All right, final. What does John Longshore say? Oh, Longshore likes it too. Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
I think Auburn in a navy blue helmet would look really cool. The navy blue helmet, and I remember it from that window display at Bama Fever Tiger Pride and Eastdale Mall. It was a checkers game.
I was there with them. Yeah, they had checkers with helmets.
Yes. And one of them was a navy blue Auburn helmet. I went, wow, wait a minute. That is a great looking helmet.
He and I were walking to the bag. We were going to visit with our buddy Keith. And all of a sudden, and I'm walking behind John. I'm looking at the stuff. All of a sudden, I bumped into him because he stopped dead in his tracks. He says, whoa, look at this. And I said, what? Check out these checkerboard pieces. What? Navy helmets. Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
look
right.
great.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm thinking Auburn ought to go navy blue helmet. Still have yet to do it. And I got to tell you, I think some navy blue pants would really look good. I mean, I'm in. Go for it. I mean, navy is such a better color than orange. Orange is just a tough color. How many times you walk into a men's store, hey, man, you got an orange golf shirt?
That was Sinatra's favorite color.
You just don't see a lot of orange.
And
of course, and as Daniel points out, Tennessee wears way too much orange. Sometimes Tennessee goes all orange.
It's not too much orange in terms of, quantity. It's that same orange that you see our penitentiary inmates wear when they have to work a road detail. Yeah. I mean, it's that and I blow your eyes out orange.
I don't know who at Clemson thought mixing purple and orange together was a good combination.
No.
But Clemson only looks good when they wear white. If Clemson's in white with the orange numbers and stripes, I can handle that. But when they come out in all orange or all purple, it looks terrible. So I'm not a huge orange fan. I know this goes back to when Auburn wore orange jerseys back in the late 70s and early 80s. I just wouldn't do that. I'd go with navy helmet. I mean, teams wearing different helmets all the time. I mean, Oregon wears a different helmet every game. Why not go navy blue? I'm in.
Auburn's
great.
Auburn's got two primary colors, orange and blue. Alabama's got one.
Go two.
You know,
white.
technically
well,
Auburn's got three,
yes.
orange, blue, and white. Alabama's got two, and that's crimson and white. You can't work a lot with crimson and white. You can either have crimson, you can have white.
So there's not a lot I'm with you. There's not a lot they could do. I don't want the white helmets back. I thought they looked terrible when Ray Perkins brought them back. Didn't like those a bit.
There's just not much. You just can't.
I don't know if you go crimson pants. I'm not a big fan of that either. I'm just wondering.
Nebraska has crimson pants sometimes,
they do.
right?
And haven't they worn black at one time at Nebraska? Accentuated some black into their uniform.
Maybe.
I want to say that they did.
Okay.
There again, we've talked about this many times. There's very few programs that have not made a change. I mean, even Penn State went back to numbers and some type of stripe on their pants in their first playoff game against Tennessee. Their uniforms were a little different in their first playoff game.
Didn't like them.
You don't see
either.
Auburn or Alabama ever making any type of tweak or change. To me, Alabama's simple. And I've said it for years. Just take the numbers off the helmet. Take them off. I think the numbers look so 1950-ish. It's like some guy, with a stencil. Here comes the number. Psh, psh, psh.
Well, that's what it is.
It just looks terrible.
The reason why it looks that way is because that's what they do.
Yeah.
You got Big C over there. He's got stencils that he got from Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Would it not look okay, similar to Penn State? Just have a crimson helmet with a white stripe, leave the number off of it.
You got to know that there are some old geezers out there who are loving the fact and are probably trying to draw some conclusions from the fact that of the final four teams in the playoff, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, three of those schools don't have anything on the side of their helmets. Ohio State has those stickers, but that's it.
Yeah.
Texas, all they got is a little cow head on the side. I mean, out of four sets of helmets, the only thing you'll see on any of them that's actually, a sticker stuck, a logo stuck on is that little cow head on the side of the Texas.
Well, the thing about Notre Dame, Barry, I think each helmet has a bottle of Armor All on it. I mean, those are the shiniest helmets I've ever seen. I don't know what they put on those helmets. Whew, but you would think maybe they're kind of slippery, so if they hit another helmet, they're going to slide off a lot easier. I don't get it, but they're pretty shiny. But I think with Bama, unless you go drastic, mix in, something like a dark gray or something like Tennessee's done with that smoky gray or whatnot, I think the fans would just absolutely scream if they did something like that. But I want to say like the baseball team or the softball team has uniforms with a little grayish mixed in to their uniforms. That's what gets me. It's okay if the baseball or the softball or the basketball team tweaks their uniform, but don't be touching those football jerseys. Don't touch those.
Auburn wears all orange softball jerseys. Auburn wears all navy blue softball uniforms. They wear baseball. We'll change it up. Heck, basketball will wear all orange a pretty good bit. Football, though, don't touch that. It'd be tough. Now, our buddy Ty tells us why Clemson is orange and purple. He says, I have heard that the reason Clemson wears orange and purple is because John Heisman took the uniforms from Auburn, and they were faded, so blue looked purple. Okay. All right. John Heisman used to coach at Auburn, and I guess later coached at Clemson. He had been at Georgia Tech or something like that. Maybe that's why Auburn and Clemson have played so many times. Because of that connection or something like that. I don't know. If I'm John Cohen, I'm never scheduling Clemson again. I mean, no, worthless. No. It's like playing yourself. I mean, why would you play Clemson? So here we are on Monday. The next NFL games are on Friday.
Friday?
Are they not? Well, hang on. No, they're not. Saturday. You're right. Saturday, Sunday. The next NFL games are on Saturday. I was looking at the college schedule because the college football playoff semifinal, the Orange Bowl, is going to be on Thursday.
Correct.
Notre Dame versus Penn State, 6:30 ESPN.
Notre Dame, a 1.5-point favorite, total 46.5.
And the Cotton Bowl, the other semifinal, a little bit of an advantage for Texas, by the way, you would imagine, because Texas is playing in the Cotton Bowl they'll be in Dallas for the second time against Ohio State. That is Friday night, 6:30 ESPN. I got Ohio State favored by 6 in that game. Surprising?
6 and 53.5. So, Barry, are Fowler and Herbstreit doing both games? Or we got two different announcing crews?
Oh, I'm looking. I had my list, and I was confident in it, and I'm looking down there, and it says TBD. I'm going to have to take a look and find that out. So, I would guess McDonough and McElroy. Is McElroy at the point now in his career where he can do a college football playoff? I'll look it up. I've got it here. I just have to find it. So yeah.
All right. So man.
Here we go. Here we go. Nope, never mind. That's not it. False start.
Well, we'll try to get it figured out.
Yeah, we'll get that going.
But I just was wondering because these guys, I guess they could do a back-to-back game, but I would think there's going to be different announcing crews for the Orange Bowl and
gotta be.
Yeah, in the Cotton Bowl. That'd be a big one there.
Let's see. Hopefully I got this right. Yeah, Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl, Ohio State and Texas will be Fowler, Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, Laura Rutledge for that one. And for the the Orange Bowl, that is Notre Dame versus Penn State. That will be Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Katie George, Molly McGraw. McElroy, I mean, he is at the stage in his career now where he's doing a college football playoff semifinal game. Good for him. I like him.
Yeah.
I just don't think you hear a lot about him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's good too. I think his role as a color analyst, I think he's pretty good. I really do.
That leaves us a little time. Here it is Monday. We're talking about the NFL playoffs a lot. But we still got 3 days before there's any football again. And we have been spoiled a little bit by the bowl season, although John kind of doesn't count the Tuesday and Wednesday games during bowl season very much.
I got to tell you, I'm kind of glad that we're done with the
WMBGs, the worthless, meaningless bowl games.
Meaningless bowl games.
The WMBGs.
Yeah. I have sent Gern a snapshot of Theotis sent us a picture of a navy blue Auburn helmet. I've also gotten pictures of the new Miss America with one of our senators, Katie Britt, who's being congratulated. So we've got that. And my brother-in-law over in Atlanta just sent me this, Barry. Walter Riggs can be characterized as the father of Clemson football.
Walter Riggs.
Yes. Walter Riggs. As he brought the game with him from Agriculture and Mechanical College of Alabama, now known as Auburn.
Right. There's still some people out there who still call it API.
The fact that Auburn and Clemson share the same mascot is no accident. Riggs allowed his players to pick the team mascot, and although he may have influenced their decision, I bet he did, the players chose Tigers because Princeton University had just won the national championship. Riggs helped organize and coach the infant Tiger team in 1896 with little money to spend on uniforms. Did they get a loan from Alabama again? Anyway, no, that's not in there.
No.
Riggs brought some of Auburn's old practice uniforms with him, which happened to have orange and navy in them. So Thank you. Appreciate that. That's my brother-in-law over in Atlanta. Sent me that info today. He's a big Alb. I'll just go ahead and let you know. Both my brother-in-laws are now that I think about it. Actually, all my brother-in-laws are Albs. I mean, what's the deal? Now that I think about it, they all are.
The gang up on John and all the family reunions and stuff. I bet it's great.
On every side of the family. I got a bunch of all brother-in-laws. It's incredible.
Let's take a break.
Yep,
and start our second live hour coming up in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy a round during the next truck commercial, buy a round during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. Their licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946. Okay, top of the hour, we're back at it here. Hour number 2, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Glad you are with us. As Barry mentioned, our first Monday of the new year. And we got a lot going on with you. Of course, the NFL playoffs are set and loaded. We know who's playing, when, and where. College football playoff, Thursday and Friday of this week. No more meaningless, crappy bowl games. And I got to tell you, if it wasn't for the bowl prediction contest, Barry, I'm not sure I'd have watched any of them. I hate to say it. I know I'm in this business, but it's a snore fest.
There were some really good games. But again, John and I have gotten into this philosophical discussion about this before. I'll watch because I like watching football. There's some good games. Hey, what is this team up to? Let's see what they're doing. John's in it for the marquee. He's in it for the names. He'd rather watch a crappy Ohio State Tennessee game than a really good. Then look at this, Ohio State. I wonder what John watches. I mean, he knows it's Ohio State. He knows it's Alabama. He knows it's Notre Dame. After you know it, and you're watching the game all of a sudden, what are you watching for? Oh, there's that helmet again. Look how shiny it is. Boy, I bet they put Under Armour on that, Armor All on that helmet. Man, I bet that thing's really good. Oh, look at that. See, there's that leprechaun down there. See him? Ha, that's great. Look at him. I mean, is that what he's watching? Once you get past the helmet games and the blue bloods and all that, do you even watch does anybody even watch the football?
I'm glad you brought that up, Barry. When it became evident that Notre Dame was going to beat Georgia and they showed the leprechaun down there dancing, that's something else I can't repeat what my wife said about that. He goes, what the is that guy doing down there? I said, that's the leprechaun. I've actually had my picture taken with that guy before. Well, it wasn't that guy, but it was a different leprechaun. A different guy in a leprechaun suit. Yeah, you got to get your picture taken with the leprechaun. Heck yeah, guys over here. What kind of dance is that where they kick their legs up, like
that's the Irish jig or something like that. Yeah.
that just rubbed it in Georgia fans' face when they showed the leprechaun. He's in the end zone. He's over there dancing. Game's not over. I'm thinking, oh.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you know. You watch, you know, John says, oh, man, the Blue Bloods. All these worthless, meaningless bowl games. I know I'm in the business and everything. Yeah. Well, if you look at a couple of them, they were some really, really good games. Competitive football games? Who cares? I'd rather
I didn't even
watch
know Buffalo and Liberty played on Saturday.
Well, now that one was a bad game. Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. That was a bad game. Liberty didn't have hardly anybody left on their team to play. The quarterback started out like 0 for 7. I watched a lot of that game. But when it gets to when it gets to be the Blue Bloods, John's like, oh boy, look at this. USC Notre Dame.
So here's how I
and when the football actually starts, what does he watch? Oh, look at those USC cheerleaders. Oh, man, that girl's an L, but she's wearing an XS sweater right now. Like it.
I don't know what it is about those sweaters at Southern Cal, but man. All right, so here's how I gauge it, Barry.
Okay, all right.
I'd love to know. Off by our wonderful viewing and listening audience. Whether it's at yellowhammernews.com, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, you know, Instagram, Bluetooth, I could go on and on. However you consume us, we greatly appreciate it.
Surely.
But that's my first test. Well, is anybody talking about it? Is anybody on the chat line? Anybody email us? Hey, man, let me tell you, when are you guys going to break down the North Texas State game? Then I kind of gauge it on, well, what am I seeing on College Football Final or on Sports Center? Or unless somebody streaked down the middle of the field at one of these games, they're not going to show anything about it. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to hype it up. They're not going to report on it, which, you know, might not be fair, but, you know, it's the real world. It's the business world because it doesn't move the needle. People don't really care. So they got to put it on because, as I've said before, it's better than putting on a rerun of the World Series of Poker, I guess. And I mean, I don't want to dump on these programs in these bowl games. Well, it kind of sounds like I am. But
I love it when John says, in case you don't know, again, John and I have been working together for 30 years. Whenever he says something like this, I hate to dump on this. Get ready because he is about to dump on this. I hate to be negative. A, no, he doesn't. And B, he's about to be really negative here. You can bank on it.
And, you know, it's kind of like rubbing the little kid's head. Hey, Johnny, man, you're growing up fast, my man. That's kind of how I feel about some of these bowl games. I mean, hey, I'm glad you're playing. And, you know, it's good and all. But, you know, we talked about the Gator Bowl. I mean, Ole Miss is playing in the Gator Bowl against a Duke team that's depleted, a lot of opt-outs. And nobody's at the game. The field looks terrible. And I think I'll say this, Barry, when the games start, when bowl season starts, I'm a little more into maybe watching some of those games. By the time we get to the end of December and into January, and we've already had college football playoff games, but they're still playing these bowl games, you're kind of going, wait a minute, what are they doing here?
Arizona Bowl, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun and exciting at first, and now it's kind of lost a little of its luster.
But it's the, you know, it's the longshore mindset. Look, I don't care if the football's good. It's how many people are watching it with me. Oh, you're watching that? Hey, I ought to watch that, you know, or that looks like a good game. Hey, nobody's here to watch. I probably shouldn't watch.
I mean, I'll point out the Alabama-Michigan game. And it was a terrible game if you're a Bama fan. I mean, embarrassing, actually. I mean, you're playing a team that half the Michigan team was gone.
And even when they were there, they weren't very good.
No, they weren't at all. So it was a humiliating loss for the Crimson Tide, to say the least. But I got to tell you, even though, and I kind of turned it on, but it's 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve, and I'm thinking, this game just didn't float my boat. And as I'm watching it, and, first 5 minutes, I'm thinking, okay. Then, of course, it's raining sideways. Bama turns it over 3 times in 3 minutes, and I'm thinking, this is over. I'm done. And maybe I'm just too fair weather. If you don't get me at a low, and
Well,
grab my attention from the get-go. My attention span's really not that long.
No kidding. Now, and when he says he may be fair weather, I don't think that's it. I'm going to defend John. I'm going to bolster up his ego a little bit. I don't think it's because he's fair weather. Well, heck with the Tide. They're going to lose this game. I don't want to watch it. It's not that he's fair weather. It's that, man, if John was like the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and you got a sales presentation to make with him and you're entering into his office behind some short-skirted receptionist who offers you, I don't know, Tito's or something, you better grab him some people it's like 5 minutes. Okay, you got 5 minutes. John may give you 5 minutes, but in reality, you got about 45 seconds. If you don't come out there and you don't grab him quick, John, this is the greatest thing ever. Hold on to your hat because I'm about to blow you away. After 45 seconds, you may come out there with the greatest product the world has ever seen, and he's already looking at his phone, checking the TV and all that. He's done. It's not that John's fair weather. It's that, boy, if you don't grab him, he's lost. He's gone.
Yeah, if you hadn't set that hook within about 45 seconds, you start sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Wah, 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 wah. Now,
and 2 minutes in, what do you think about that, huh? Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, I'm in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
hey,
sure.
listen, leave your card, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, is leave your card just a nice way to say, get the hell out of my office?
Yeah,
just nicer.
I've been working on this research. John was talking about, well, the Alabama game was at 11 o'clock in the morning. And John had asked this before the new year. And normally my source for television ratings is pretty solid, but I haven't been able to get anything like this. So I've been having to research this. Did it on the bus a little bit yesterday coming back. He was wondering what the numbers were, for instance, for the college football playoff matchup between Penn State and SMU, right?
Okay. Yes,
on
that's
campus
right. Correct.
At Penn State.
Yes.
100 and something thousand campus site, but it was on like TNT.
Yeah, I think it was on TNT.
Okay,
you're right.
It was on TNT. I think it was an early TNT game. So the timing, I think it was an 11 o'clock game on TNT in a college football playoff where the team moves on. If you win, and if you don't, he's done. They're done. That game, I finally found a number. The playoff game between SMU and Penn State averaged 6.4 million viewers on TNT.
I wonder, let me write that. What was that again?
6.4 million average.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good for TNT
at
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
how many
that's
people
pretty
watch TNT at 11 o'clock in the morning? Nobody. The Alabama-Michigan game at the former Outback Bowl, now known as the ReliaQuest Bowl, New Year's Eve, 11 o'clock in the morning. It was the largest audience. It was on ESPN. It was the largest audience for the Outback / ReliaQuest Bowl since South Carolina, Michigan in 2013. That one where Jadeveon Clowney knocked the dog snot out of that Michigan running back.
Remember that.
Almost killed him.
Yeah.
That's 11 years ago. It was the largest audience for that game since 2013. Penn State SMU on TNT in a college football playoff game, 6.4 million.
At what time was that game? 6:30?
11 o'clock.
No. Penn State.
11 o'clock.
That was 11 o'clock in the morning?
Penn State SMU was 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Both of these games were 11 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
Alabama, Michigan averaged 6.55 million. So that's an average of 150, 6.4, 150,000-ish more viewers for Alabama, Michigan on ESPN. John, in the television ratings business nationally, that is called a push. That is
Barry, I'm surprised by that. I got to tell you, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to. So, Alabama's New Year's Eve, the Penn State game was the night before or the day before. Trying to think when was the Penn State SMU game?
I think that was Friday. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at it right here. So Penn State and SMU played on Tuesday, December the 31st, and Alabama played the same day. So they were on at the same time. Wow. No, I think Penn State Boise was at night. I think that was a night game. That was the prime time kick because all these Alabama, Michigan, South Carolina, Illinois, Louisville, Washington, and Baylor, LSU were afternoon games. Penn State Boise was at night because my deal was.
Yeah, I was looking Penn State SMU. Yeah, Penn State Boise was at night. Yeah, that was the one you were asking.
So are people going to sit at home on New Year's Eve when they're out, partying and in revelry and all that type stuff? I think that hurt them a little bit. TNT probably hurt them a little bit. Everybody's home, not going to work on New Year's Eve, whatever. The rain started. Oh, wow, we got to check this out. Fumbles everywhere. Got to check it out. But even having said all that, I'm surprised. Even though I know Michigan and Alabama's a huge draw, I'm surprised it had better numbers than Penn State and Boise.
No. See, I've got to correct myself. I was looking at Penn State SMU. This Penn State Boise game.
Yeah.
Let me reset the whole thing. Alabama, Michigan averaged 6.55 million viewers. Now, the second round game between Penn State and Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, 13.8 million.
Yeah, Penn State SMU was December 21st.
Yeah, that's right. I was looking at the wrong one. My mistake. Yeah. So you were asking about Penn State Boise as opposed to Alabama versus Michigan. And Penn State Boise was about twice the number. It was still the least watched quarterfinal of them all.
Is Alabama Michigan going to be one, I would assume, the highest rated non-playoff bowl?
It's the highest rated bowl that the Outback Bowl has had forever. What else would be one? I think actually, and I'm not being facetious here, that Alabama looking so crappy in that game, the ratings, that actually helped the ratings.
Sure.
The ratings probably went up and up. I didn't watch the first quarter of the Alabama game. I was traveling. I was listening to Chris Stewart on the radio. But in the second half, I was watching that game like a hawk. I'm telling you. So maybe there's a lot of people out there thinking, oh boy, Alabama's there's no way they're going to lose to this depleted 6-6 Michigan team, are they? Or 7-5.
Why do you think disaster movies make so much money at the box office?
Why do you slow down at accident sites on the interstate?
Sure. No kidding. I mean, Towering Inferno made a fortune.
People jumping out the windows, 100 stories up, on fire. Ooh, let's see Robert Wagner do that again,
Yeah, oh, exactly.
You're right. So $13.8 million in a quarterfinal for Penn State versus Boise, as opposed to $6.55 million for a lowly bowl game.
And I got to tell you, I'm surprised that it outrated the Penn State SMU game. I know that game was at 11. The Penn State SMU game was early in the day.
Now,
if I'm not mistaken.
Bear this in mind. Penn State Boise in the Fiesta Bowl, 13.8 million viewers. The Chiefs, who had already clinched the playoffs, averaged like 16 million. Yeah. So college football, they're whistling zippity doodah out of their mouths.
I'd be interested, Barry,
to be able to get ratings like that even come close to the NFL ratings.
Yeah, that's hard to believe for a lot of people down here in the college football hotbed, but NFL numbers are through the roof. I'd be interested to know what Clemson and Texas and Tennessee and Ohio State had in the ratings on December the 21st. SMU Penn State was actually the sandwich game. They were the afternoon game. Clemson and Texas were early. SMU Penn State mid-afternoon. Tennessee Ohio State at night in the first playoff games. And of course you had Notre Dame and Indiana were on Friday night.
Right.
In the first round games. But
the most watched quarterfinal game was the Rose Bowl Ohio State over Oregon, and it wasn't much of a game. That averaged 21 million viewers. Let me tell you, Ohio State brings the eyeballs. 21 million viewers for the Rose Bowl, the quarterfinal. The Peach Bowl, Texas and Arizona State, 17 million. The Sugar Bowl brought in 15.8 million viewers. A lot of that hampered because, they had to postpone that game because of that domestic terrorist attack. And again, Penn State and Boise State, 13.8 million viewers for that one. So 21 million viewers
Interesting.
for a quarterfinal game from the Rose Bowl.
Pretty good.
The playoff ain't going anywhere, folks.
And I want to say, Barry, last year, the Alabama-Michigan game at the Rose Bowl, those numbers were around there. I want to say it was around 20, 21 million.
Okay, here's what I'm reading here. Last year's Rose Bowl, which was a semifinal game as opposed to a quarterfinal, because there were only semifinals last year.
Went to overtime.
Alabama, Michigan. Michigan wins at 27-20 in overtime. 27.2 million. 27.2 for a semifinal between Alabama and Michigan. And this year, a quarterfinal game in the same venue between Ohio State and Tennessee, 21 million.
Wow. All right, when we come back, I see the wheel at the bottom of the screen. It is ready to get the spinning going. We will spin the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I believe there's a lot of topics on it today. We're going to get to it. Keep the chats coming on our River Region Straw chat line. You can email us longshoremcnight@gmail.com or our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox. It is Monday. We are rolling on. Sponsored by Bama Bud and Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Hi, this is Benji with Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Guys, this is the time to shop. The holidays will be here before you know it. Our cases are slam full, so take advantage and lay away for Christmas now. We have a full repair shop and design shop. So if you dream it, we can make it for her. And if you need any repairs, we have an in-house master jeweler. At Marguerite's, we make it. We really make it. At Marguerite's, we are open 7 days a week. Come see us at the Preparatory Shopping Center, 8163 Vaughn Road, Montgomery, Alabama.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car or a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Prattville is a process that should always start with your team of professionals on your side. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it is safe to say that Stivers Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But don't just take my word for it. Experience the Stivers difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars and trucks, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Okay, back at it about 23 minutes past the top of the hour. We are certainly glad you are here with us. Here on this Monday edition of the program. I see the wheel is ready to go, and I'm sure Chris Bammer is chomping at the bits a bit. So, Gern, give it a good spin, and let's see what comes up on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel first on a Monday. Oh, boy. Glad we hit this. Hoops. Barry, we talked about Auburn and Alabama. They both look really good over the weekend. Check them out. But I was kind of wondering what happened in the rest of the league over the weekend, because I got to tell you, I was kind of just worried more about well, not worried, but concerned or more interested in Auburn and Alabama.
Yep. I love it. John doesn't ever call it basketball. It's either hoops or the hardwood or something like that. John never calls it that. In the Southeastern Conference on Saturday, again, recapping, we've already talked about this in case Robbie chats in. Auburn beats Missouri in Auburn 84-68. Alabama, a big winner over Oklahoma, who had come in 13-0. Alabama wins at 107-79. We did watch this one on the bus a little bit, coming back from our game at Marshall. Texas A&M beats Texas 80-60. First time they had played in 11 years. That's an SEC game. Texas A&M's pretty good. Vanderbilt beats LSU 80-72. Show your gold.
Show your gold, Doors.
Vandy is now 13-1, John. They stunk to high heaven for about 4 years before that. Mississippi State, we got to ask Bart Heisch about this. Number 17, Mississippi State, they're 13-1. They beat South Carolina 85-50, a 35-point win. Number 1, Tennessee, they look terrific at home against Arkansas, who is rated number 23. I called a game at Arkansas. Arkansas is pretty good. Tennessee wins it by 24, 76-52. Ole Miss beats Georgia 63-51. It's only the second loss this year for Georgia. And in the best game we saw all weekend, SEC or otherwise, and maybe one of the best games we'll ever see this year, undefeated Florida, number 6 in the country, goes to number 10 Kentucky, 24,000 fans, and Kentucky wins at 106-100. It was never more than Florida got off to an early 11-point lead. It was back and forth and close the entire game. Florida balled out. The place was going nuts. Kentucky wins it. Extraordinary game, 106-100. That's Florida's first loss.
And, Barry, it's interesting. You can tell that the league has expanded because to me, it didn't seem like we would have 5 games on a Tuesday. We have 5 SEC games tomorrow.
One of them is Auburn at Texas. And again, Texas is good, but not great. That'll be on ESPN2 tomorrow night. Auburn in Austin, and Alabama plays on Wednesday at South Carolina.
Only 3 games on Wednesday.
Only 3 games on Wednesday, 5 on Tuesday. I think that'll be the scheduling model that you see. The other good games on Tuesday, Tennessee versus Florida. That'll be in Gainesville. The Auburn game tips off at 8 o'clock at night. So, get used to that. That should follow right behind. Yeah, that'll be the second part of an ESPN2 doubleheader tomorrow night. Florida, Tennessee at 6 on the Deuce, and then Auburn at Texas at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Man, that's going to be outstanding. That's some really good basketball. That Florida-Kentucky game, 206 points scored in that one. Wow, that is a good one. Going to be a good year. Going to be a good, fun time in the league. All right, Gern, spin it again. What is up next on the wheel? Let's see what's going on with the Victoryland 777 topic wheel, and it's going to land on transfer fatigue. Transfer fatigue. Barry, is it just me, or am I kind of detecting some transfer fatigue from the Bama Nation that, some guys are leaving. Maybe you don't know them all, but some of them you do. And maybe not enough high-profile transfers are coming in. It seemed like the first couple of years, all these big dogs, these big-name guys were transferring into Alabama. Nick Saban had made a comment that, are you sure you want to do this? Because the rich are only going to get richer. Is that happening in Tuscaloosa? Because I don't detect that.
There's some guys, Jahmyr Gibbs, he transferred in from Georgia Tech, and people are like, Georgia Tech, how good could he have been? Georgia Tech, if he was any good, he'd have signed with somebody better out of high school. Well, Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal when he was at Alabama, and he scored 4 touchdowns last night in an NFL game. Alabama got a commitment for instance, we talked about this guy in the first. An offensive lineman named Arkel Anugwam commits to Alabama from Ball State.
Ball State.
6'6", 325, redshirted at Ball State, transfers into Alabama. You're thinking, Ball State?
Ball State. Wow.
Really? Ball State?
Huh.
I'm trying to think of another one down there that Alabama got.
I mean, I'm seeing, guys leaving, Barry. I'm just not seeing as many come in.
Right.
And some wide receivers where, granted, I know they only threw to one guy last season. And I think I hark back to what we've heard Travis and Rodney say. DeBoer's got to make some moves. I mean, he's had this year under his belt, but it's time for him to get serious, whether it's with personnel or with staff and or both. I mean, this little tap dancing around's got to go.
Namby-pamby, wishy-washy stuff. Yeah.
Got to go.
Well, they've already. I don't know how it went down. Maybe Colin Hitchler, Alabama's co-defensive coordinator, had a better offer or something, but it has been a mutual decision that he is no longer on the Alabama staff as the co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's going to go or what he's going to do or anything, but, maybe that is the start of something like that. But if you're looking at the guys who are leaving Alabama, are they big losses? I'm asking. This is not a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Elijah Pritchett is in the transfer portal, the offensive lineman. They've had guys that have taken off, and you're thinking, well, we didn't really need them, but they've gone to some pretty good spots. Defensive lineman Hunter Osborne commits to Virginia. Emmanuel Henderson, the kid from down here in Hartford, I think, commits to Kansas. Kendrick Law has signed with Kentucky. Offensive tackle Miles McVay commits to North Carolina. It ain't like they're going to Ball State.
No.
But Alabama's getting some Ball State guys back. It's just the fans, and it's not just Alabama fans who are saying, boy, this has really ruined me. College football is going to Hades in a handbasket, and I'm tired of it. I'm out. Those are like the same people who used to get mad at John when we were working in another medium.
Yeah.
John, I'm never going to listen again. And John's like, yeah, right.
Sure,
right. Sure enough, 2 days later, they're like, John, I can't believe you said that. Wait a minute. I thought you weren't listening anymore. That kind of thing. Well, I'm done with college football. This is what kills me. Other people, these kids, all they care about is money. They're not loyal anymore. Listen, raise your hand if somebody offers you twice as much money as you're making right now at the place where you've been working for 15 years. Is that being disloyal to take a better opportunity, to take a better advantage? All these guys are after is money. And you're not?
Yeah, it is. We've talked about it so many times before. It's a different day and age, a different brand of college football. But, there are a lot of programs out there that are spending money. These guys know it. They're attracted to it. They're going to go take advantage of it. I get it. I don't fault them for that. And I think that's kind of brought parity to college football to some degree, because there are a lot of teams that are getting 3, 4, 5, 6 players that are difference makers that never had the opportunity to get them before. And that's why you're seeing some of these teams have the success that they have. And I think Alabama's roster's loaded. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the last 4 or 5, gee whiz. Since Saban was there, DeBoer's proven he can reel in a really good recruiting class. So they've got some talent. And I've said this before, getting over your first year, there's a lot of things you learn on the job. And I got to think Kalen DeBoer has sat back and reflected and talked to his staff and, thought about it himself of things that he should have done differently. And I think after 1 year under his belt, I think that's what you're going to see. Is it staff changes, personnel changes? Was Kalen DeBoer just maybe too loyal to some of the players that he inherited? Maybe so. Not wanting to upset the apple cart. Here's the new guy, and do you make drastic, rash changes from the get-go? Might not go over real well, but you learn. And there again, that's why most coaches that come into a new situation are going to get, 3 years to get everything right. I mean, I think that's why this is a huge year for Hugh Freeze. I mean, everybody's excited and giddy about, what's going on in the transfer portal and that recruiting class and all these articles I read. Those things are brought up, which are great. But if Hugh Freeze can't deliver and get Auburn any better than 8-4, he's on thin ice. That ain't what they want. You can recruit all you want and transfer all you want, but if that record at the end of the season isn't very good and you're losing to the same teams year after year, so what? You're gone.
Well, I know the topic heading is transfer portal, and so I don't want to get too far off of that before we go back to the topic wheel. But those people who say, man, I can't believe we're losing these guys. This transfer portal thing and NIL, it's losing me. All they're worried about is money. John, are they complaining when kids are signing with Alabama because of the money? Oh, that guy's disloyal. He's leaving us. Do you feel that way about the guy who's leaving Colorado to come play linebacker at Alabama, or the guy who's leaving Miami to play wide receiver? Oh, he's a wonderful kid. Obviously, salt of the earth guy. Love him. That kind of thing. And plus what you're talking about Hugh Freeze being delivered. Hopefully this is not on the topic wheel, but I've noticed this. There's two guys whose podcast I really like. Many more than two, but these two.
Yeah.
Andy Staples.
Sure.
And Ari Wasserman. They have a really good podcast together. They're both now at On3 Sports. On3 is a really good site in the same line with 24/7 Sports and Rivals. They have, over the weekend, John, issued their way too early 2025 top 10 college football teams.
Oh, wow. I want to see that.
It's way too early. It is way too early. There's still more transfer portals. There's spring practice. There's a portal in the spring. Guys can opt out, go to the NFL, whatever. He's got as his number one team for 2025 preseason, the Texas Longhorns. Whether Quinn Ewers goes or not, they like Arch Manning. Texas 1, Oregon 2, Ohio State 3, Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5, Georgia 6, South Carolina 7, Clemson 8, the Florida Gators 9. If you're wondering where Alabama is, I haven't mentioned Alabama in the top 9. They ain't in the top 10 either. The way too early On3 college football 2025 rankings have as the number 10 team the Auburn University Tigers.
Ooh, wow.
Alabama is not in the top 10. So, people are starting to turn to Freeze and say, okay, all right, we get the poor mouthing early because Harsin did such a horrendous job. We get the misfiring on a quarterback, but all right now, Auburn, top 10.
Barry, that to me, doing the simple math would translate into a better year than 8-4.
Yes,
yeah.
You would think.
Yeah, you would think.
You would think if you're going to be in the top 10. Just something to look at. We've still got more coming up. And
Barry, I can't disagree with that. Who is Alabama's quarterback going to be? Is the offensive line play going to be any bebetter? Are they going to have any other go? Yeah, really. Is the running game going to be more productive? Are they going to have another go-to wide receiver? I certainly don't see him in the top 10.
What do you think? We've got more on our Victoryland 777 topic wheel coming up. It's our Monday show, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, $15,000 off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to $10,000 off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Stivers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Stivers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
About 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Glad you're with us here on a Monday. The Victoryland 777 topic wheel is very active here today. Tom Luganville will join us on Wednesday. I know folks are used to having him here on a Monday, but Lugs is at the Under Armour All-Star game and taking care of that, so he'll join us on Wednesday, which is pretty good because it's the day before the first semifinal game in the college football playoff. So we'll do that on Wednesday. Okay, girl, let's get the wheel going. Let's spin it and see what we've got happening. A lot of different colors today. And semis, not tractor trailer rigs, but semifinals in the playoffs. We just touched on it a little bit, Barry. It is going to – do you like them staggered? Would you rather have them both on the same day? I'm kind of wondering why one on Thursday and why one on Friday?
Well, they don't want to have it on Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. You and I talked about this years ago when we talked about the potential framework for a college football playoff. The one thing you don't want to do is go head-to-head against the NFL. But I do like the idea of having like a day to do it. Hey, this is semifinal day. The first semifinal, the Orange Bowl, Notre Dame versus Penn State. That's Thursday at 6:30 on ESPN. I take it on faith. When John blurted out the line and the total, he didn't even have it in his notes. He just knew at top of his head. Yeah. Notre Dame 1.5, and the over-under is 46.5. And then on Friday, same time, same network, everything, same bat channel, 6:30 Friday, ESPN. By the way, that Notre Dame Penn State game, that's Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy. Ohio State, Texas from the Cotton Bowl. And that'll be Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, blah, 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 Holly Roll. That'll be a 6-point Ohio State line. Ohio State favored by 6, over under 53.5 as Ohio State takes on Texas for the right to play for a national championship. That was a big topic of discussion among all the coaches and players on the Troy bus and traveling around for 4.5 days. Who do you like? And out of all the people, sitting there eating team meal or eating breakfast or whatever, out of the 4 teams, I had pretty much been sure that I had at least one pick for every one of the 4 teams left. That thing could be anybody from the people I talk
and I like Ohio State. Been saying it for weeks now. To me, they're the best looking team of the 4 left in it. Just don't wear the all red uniforms. That was not a good look for the Buckeyes in their first playoff game. Hey, they won. I mean, I give them that, but the all red was tough.
Not good.
I mean, you're right with the NFL playoffs. You don't want to go head to head up against them. And I guess you couldn't do it on the same day because you'd have I mean, if you did it on Friday, you'd have a game that would have to start at like 4, and then the other one would start at 7:45, like they do with the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. So I guess you got to stagger it and have them on back-to-back nights. So you can have them both in prime time. That's kind of a tough thing for the college football playoff because they've kind of got to schedule their games when the NFL's not playing.
You don't want to mess with the NFL.
No.
You really don't. And when that game does happen, that national championship game, whoever it might be, they're not dealing with that one.
Yeah, that's on a Monday, I believe.
That's on a Monday night at 6:30, and that'll be back in Atlanta. So yeah, they don't want to mess with the NFL.
No, they do not. All right, let's spin it again. See what we got. And round she goes, and that's kind of like hoops and hardwood. You know,
T-Roy
ways for Troy. Yeah. It's Trojans or T-Roy or whatever. Maybe I need to use what's on your car tag one day for that.
The TDMOT, yeah. The Touchdown Men of Troy. Yeah, it was a good week for Troy athletics. The Troy women's basketball team won 2 games in the league at home at Trojan Arena. Thursday, a win over Coastal Carolina, and then Saturday, a win over Marshall. The Troy men on Saturday win at Marshall. Great game, 57-56 was the final score there. Troy men, they sweep the road trip in the Sun Belt Conference, which is huge and difficult to do. Now they flip-flop. The Troy men's basketball team is at home. Troy women's basketball is on the road. The Troy women, their schedule takes them, first of all, to Appalachian State on Thursday night. And then they go to, after that, load that up. I think they have Georgia State on the road. Meanwhile, the Troy men's basketball team, 2 huge ones. Texas State comes in on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Texas State, always one of the top teams in the league. And then on Saturday, a big one. The number 1 team in the league right now, in Ken Palm and ratings and all that, is Arkansas State. They took a loss on Saturday. It's the same Arkansas State team that had a big win earlier against Memphis, coached by former Alabama assistant coach Brian Hodgson.
Yeah.
Arkansas State comes in for a Saturday game that may be flexed out to be an ESPN family game, somewhere on ESPN. So I'll hold off on the tip-off time for that. But 2 huge home games for Troy men's basketball, Thursday at home against Texas State, and then Saturday at home against Arkansas State. Tickets available at TroyTrojans.com/tickets.
You know, Barry, if you get a second or two with the Arkansas State basketball coach, Brian Hodgson, you might want to just mention, say, hey, you know, my podcast partner sat behind you at a Kenny Chesney concert in Charlotte, North Carolina a couple of years ago.
I bet he remembers that. I bet he does. I bet he does. I'll say something to him about that.
But he walked up and I thought, man, this guy looks familiar. And then I looked at his shirt. It said Tide Hoops on it.
Yeah.
I went, I think I know this guy. Yeah, he was enjoying the show. It was really good.
He does a really good job. They're right now tied for second. Troy is in a tie for first with South Alabama, I think, and one more. But, yeah, big home weekend for Troy men's basketball.
Yeah. Ty wanting to know where are Bob and Danny this morning. I don't know. I do not know where Bob from Pike Road and Danny from Margaritaville are.
I think Danny checked. I think Bob checked in real quick.
Yeah.
After, I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with Alabama's abysmal loss to Michigan, a depleted Michigan club in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I'm sure it's just timing for him. I do think he checked in later on Milroe, maybe, or something.
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
so. Maybe
but
so.
I do know the last we had heard from Bob before that game was talking about the disaster on the pasture and how Hugh Freeze is perennial 6-6 team or something like that. So he was talking about Auburn big time last Thursday, and we didn't really hear from him, either of them, much.
I don't know.
Friday,
hope they're okay.
Which is strange. Hope they're okay.
I hope everything is good with them. Gurn, Before we get to Marianne, let's spin the Victoryland 777 topic wheel yet again and see what we come up with. As we get closer and closer to eliminating panels. All right.
Too soon. All
Too
right.
soon. Barry, I think it's too soon, but I've already heard some rumblings about the future of Kalen DeBoer. Is it too soon? He's only got 1 year under his belt, finished 9-4, had some pretty big wins, had some pretty embarrassing losses. Some transfer portal movement going on. People are a little restless, but I think it is too soon. I was thinking back, what were people saying about Nick Saban after he went 7-6? And I get it. Kalen DeBoer had a much better roster that he fell into. But were people screaming and kicking and hollering when Saban went 7-6?
No, they really weren't. Kind of not like this. And DeBoer's record's better than 7-6. The Alabama fans, you need to be happy. The one number that is crazy to me, negatively about him, is Saban in how many years he was in Alabama, 16 or 17 years in Alabama. He only lost 3 games to teams that were double-digit underdogs. DeBoer lost 3 games this year to teams that were double-digit underdogs.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, I mean, his winning percentage is like 80%. Well, it wasn't at a place like Alabama. Well, you have advantages in Alabama you don't have anywhere else as well. Here's a couple of keys to happiness from Barry to you, free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to stop comparing everything to Nick Saban. Because not only are the circumstances different, I think it was those circumstances are what chased him away from college football. You're never going to be happy if you compare everything to what Nick Saban did, because we had told you for years, look, this ain't going to last forever, and one of these is going to be done and maybe a little bit difficult. Number 2, key to happiness, make sure the little woman's happy.
Yeah.
Make sure the little woman's happy. Everything else is happy. And for us, that has meant Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Well, it certainly has. And Marianne joining us here this morning from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree. And Marianne here today to tell us something very special about the new Miss America, who was also Miss Alabama. And Marguerite's has always had a unique affiliation with Miss Alabama. And now, as I mentioned, Miss America. Hey, Marianne, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's amazing. I definitely wanted to hop on this morning and let you guys know, the listeners out there, you can seem really smart to your wives, girlfriends, whatever, if you realize that, hey, you know what, honey? Miss America, she's Miss Alabama. So that's a little tidbit out there to prove that you've been watching something other than football for the past few days. I know that it's been surrounding our lives here in Troy. And so Miss Alabama, or she's Miss America now, Abby Stockard, is going to begin her reign. And she is wearing a custom Marguerite's Miss Alabama necklace. We've been affiliated with the Miss Alabama organization for years, and probably close to 15. It was something Nan Tenenbaum is the sponsor, and I worked with her through my affiliation with the Miss Alabama organization. And so we carried it over because Lyle and Marguerite's, we really do make it. We thought it would be something really special to give a beautiful diamond necklace in 14 karat white gold to the reigning Miss Alabama at the beginning of her reign. I go every June or July to hand and to give the necklace. And this year we're just so excited that the Miss Alabama necklace is going to be making its rounds throughout the United States because Abby Stockard is Miss America.
That's a beautiful thing. She's from Vestavia Hills. She goes to school at Auburn. She led a field of 10 finalists and got the award yesterday. It's no surprise to me, Marianne, that out of those 10 finalists, 5 of them were from southern states. The South just has the prettiest women in America. Am I right?
We agree. So, yeah, that's why SEC schools are booming, because these guys, they want to go where the pretty girls are. Who wants to be in the cold in the Ivy Leagues? Come to the SEC or the Sun Belt.
There you go.
Yeah, you're exactly. So, Marianne, can our viewers and listeners, come by Marguerite's and get that necklace, that similar necklace?
100% they can. We've got the castings ready to go. I don't know if it was just sending good vibes Abby's way, but we are fully stocked on those mountings and, of course, beautiful Marguerite's quality diamonds. So you can come and get the special beauty queen in your life a necklace. And it's never too early to be thinking about Valentine's Day because it's right.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask about that, but I did want to ask this in closing, Marianne. Last time we talked to you was at the big year-end sale, and you mentioned to us the reason why you have it every year is to clear the cases for new jewelry for 2025. I trust that everybody needs to come out there and take a look because there's plenty of new items in the jewelry cases at Marguerite's.
Most definitely. Our jeweler is currently working on those pieces. We're on a bit of a sabbatical, but we're still available to take calls. If you have something pressing or an anniversary or birthday that you forgot, that we do take a little bit of a break. We're available via text and appointment. So 334-270-0074. And you can reach out to us and we're happy to help you with that need. But yes, our jeweler is busy restocking those cases because it was our biggest sale to date. I looked around when we were putting up jewelry and I was just like, we are not going to have enough to start this new year. I hope our jeweler is busy. So lucky for us, he is.
Outstanding. Marianne, thank you so much. That's exciting news, and we look forward to talking about it all week. Great stuff. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Marguerite's exquisite jewelry is at Pepper Tree Center right next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery, Alabama. And yeah, you see Miss America out there, you take a look. Yeah, she's wearing a beautiful piece of jewelry from Marguerite, who has been involved with Miss Alabama for years and years and years. Abby Stockard from Vestavia Hills, Alabama. There you go.
There's Gern's got a picture of her there, waving to the crowd. Beautiful picture, beautiful young lady. Great stuff. I think we got one more break, and then we'll wrap it up with our Victoryland topic wheel. I think we have two more topics on the wheel, if I'm not mistaken.
So we better hurry. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial, buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make two plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946. Already back at it, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Let's spin it, Gern. Let's see if we got time to get the clear the Victoryland 777 topic wheel for this Monday. Two more panels left. It's going to fall on, NFLPS. That's the National Football League playoff schedule. How about that?
I thought it was NFLP piece of, okay.
Yeah, playoff schedule. And Barry, it starts on Saturday afternoon.
We're in the wild card round for the NFL playoffs. 3:30 Saturday, Chargers and the Texans. Texans always play at 3:30.
It seems like it.
Yep. And then this is the Robbie game. Steelers and the Ravens. Robbie versus Bill from Baltimore. That's the Amazon Prime game Saturday at 7 o'clock. Baltimore, 9.5-point favorites. Boy, Robbie, the Steelers really coughed one up the other night. Ooh.
Sure did.
Yep. Then on Sunday, Broncos and the Bills. Former Auburn quarterback Bo Nix takes his team into snowy Buffalo at noon on Sunday. Also on Sunday, Packers Eagles at 3:30. Eagles playing at home, and then Commanders Buccaneers on Thursday night. Football Night in America. That'll be from Tampa, NBC. And the final wild card matchup is on Monday on ABC, 7:15 Monday night. Vikings and the Rams from SoFi.
Yeah, I got a Monday night game in the wild card. That's pretty interesting as well. So there you have it there. And I believe our last topic on our Victoryland 777 topic wheel is, what did I miss there? Portal quarterback. Somebody asked me this over the weekend.
All right.
And I don't know. I know there's another portal window opening in the spring.
Yep.
Does Kalen DeBoer go after a quarterback in the portal?
Well, who has he got? He's got the freshman kid. He's got
kid from Washington that came.
Yeah, Austin Mack, of course.
Ty Simpson.
He's got Simpson. I think he needs some depth. Yeah. I know he's got a couple walk-ons. I know he needs some depth, but who wants to come into that situation?
Well, I mean, I wondered that too, Barry, but I mean, heck, Hugh Freeze got 2 quarterbacks in the portal. Only one can play.
I can't figure that out because Ashton Daniels, I got to figure that out because he ain't going to play. I mean, he ain't going to start. Number 2, he ain't coming in till the summer anyway. I don't know why Ashton Daniels would come into Auburn.
Yeah.
He needs to go to some place that absolutely they are screaming for a quarterback so he can just come in, step in, and go. That's what Cam did.
Mm-hmm.
But along the same lines, he ends up going to Auburn where he's going to miss spring. He's going to have to jump in. I don't know why he's doing that. Who wants to do that for Alabama, to come in and be a piece of a team that basically you're just an insurance policy? I don't know. I think they'd like to get another one. I just don't over expect.
Yeah, then who's out there? Who's to say? Who knows? Yeah. But could that be a possibility in the future? We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Well, look at that. Man, clock on the wall says it's 9 a.m. That means it's time for us to wrap things up. But hey, no problem, because you can check us out anytime during the day. Whenever it's convenient for you, you can check us out on YouTube, of course, on Spotify, at Alabama, at YellowHammerNews.com. So we've got so many options for you to consume our product, and we really appreciate everybody checking us out.
We appreciate everybody joining us here on the show today. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.